In the last 3 days, police said they have killed 10 terrorists in total. Earlier, 3 terrorists of Jaish were killed on Wednesday in the Baramulla area and 3 were killed near LOC area in Kupwara on Thursday. From January, 82 terrorists, including 26 foreigners, have been killed in the valley. Most of the terrorists belong to Jaish and Lashkar. 43 active terrorists and 182 overground workers have been arrested during the same time. Mufti Islah continues to be with us. We also have Tajinder Singh, who's with us on the broadcast to give us more details. So, Mufti, put this in context. Now, there are 10 terrorists that have been killed in the last 3 days alone. Would you look at this as a success as far as the administration there is concerned?
It is, of course. Look at the areas. I mean, these are different areas we're talking about. One is towards the northern Kashmir, Kupwara, Baramulla, where police was able to eliminate 6 militants. All 6 belong to Pakistan, 3 in Kriri, in Baramulla, which happened on Wednesday. Then Thursday, yesterday, we had a huge encounter near the line of control, where 3 Lashkar militants, again from Pakistan, were killed. But here also, in city, you have an encounter like this. In fact, few days back, you saw a similar kind of targeted killing in the Soura area, where a cop was killed. His daughter was also injured. In fact, that place is not far away from this. It would be barely 2 kilometers from this place. And the significant encounter, as we've been talking about, that took place in Avantipur, where 2 militants were killed. Now, police is saying that, well, those 2 were actually responsible for the killing of Amrina Bhatt, although they're saying that that was done on the directions of one local militant named Latif Rathir alias Osama, who also belongs to Badipura village of Badgam. So all in all, a huge success for the police in the sense that they were able to kill 10 militants in the last 3 days. Having said that, from January onwards, we have seen some 82 militants being killed, 26 of them foreigners. So gives you a sense of the operations of police. But as I said, militants do keep on changing tactics. There are a lot of spate of targeted attacks which one sees. Every now and then police tells us that they have busted a module. Unfortunately, what happens that again, civilians are targeted. In fact, in Badgam area only, we saw this was the 3rd or 4th killing which took place. We believe that one SPO and his brother were killed. Then Rahul Bhatt, the Kashmiri Pandit employee, was killed. And yesterday, in fact, on Wednesday night, Amrina Bhatt was killed. So all in all, there's this up and down when it comes to operations of security forces. Sometimes they do suffer reverses, but other time they do have successes like these, which they met in the last 13 to 14 hours when these 2 operations were launched, one in Avantipur and one here in Soura.
Mufti Islah, stay with us. We also have Tajinder Singh joining us on the broadcast. Tajinder, now give us a sense here. We've seen that 10 terrorists have been killed in the last 3 days alone. Mufti was just telling us a detail of how many terrorists, around over 80 in fact, have been killed since January. But tell us, what does the situation look like in the valley for now? How many more terrorists are still looming large?
See, if you remember, just a couple of days ago, I got the opportunity to speak to the Northern Army Commander, Lieutenant General Upender Dwivedi, wherein I asked him about the number of terrorists present in Kashmir Valley. He said that the numbers which the army has from various sister security agencies is around 150 to 200 terrorists who are active in Kashmir. They include the locals as well as foreigners. What is more concerning for the security agencies is that around 200 to 300 heavily armed terrorists, they are waiting for an opportunity to infiltrate into the Indian side from across the line of control. All the launch pads along the line of control in Pakistan side have been reactivated by the Pakistan army. There are 6 terror training camps which are still active near the line of control on the Pakistan side, and they are providing training to the Pakistan army. If you remember the other day when 3 Pakistani terrorists were killed in Kriri, my colleague from Srinagar, Mufti, also reported how those terrorists were carrying steel-coated bullets. Steel-coated bullets are a Pakistan army grade ammunition. So this is supplied to the Pakistan army, and on the other hand, the Pakistan army is giving this to the terrorists. So you can well understand the nefarious designs of the Pakistan army to support, aid and abet terrorism into the Indian side. So until and unless that yes, Ranjan.
Okay, in fact, Tejinder, are there fears of more terrorists infiltrating into the valley?
Yes, you see, Runjhun, there are inputs with the security agencies that around 200 to 300 heavily armed terrorists, they are waiting for an opportunity to sneak into the Indian side. There are an estimate around 60 launch pads along the line of control and the international border in south, north of Pir Punjab and in Jammu region, which have been reactivated by the Pakistan side. Yesterday, if you see, the Indian Army issued a very strong worded statement wherein the Indian Army spokesperson based in Srinagar, Colonel Imran Mosavi, said that Pakistan is misusing the ceasefire understanding to deceive India and to fulfill its nefarious agenda of Kashmir. Yesterday, you see, 3 terrorists were gunned down by the security forces along the line of control in the Keren sector. That was a new group of terrorists that had infiltrated into the Indian side. The Indian Army tracked the group with the inputs from the local police in Kupwara, and the group was tracked a few kilometers away from the line of control, and that was eliminated. There are attempts being made at various places. We know that attempts are being made from Poonch, Rajouri, Keren sector, Karna sector, Tangdar sector, Udi sector to push in terrorists into the Indian side. But because of the robust anti-infiltration grid which is in place on the line of control on the international border, these nefarious designs of the enemy are being foiled. If you remember, on 23rd of April last year, there was an encounter which took place in Jammu just a day ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit. After that, a terror tunnel was also detected in Samba. So you see, all attempts are being made from across the line of control, across the international border by the Pakistani establishment to push in maximum number of terrorists. Because you see, this year the Amarnath Yatra is going to be very crucial. The annual Amarnath Yatra will start from June 30, and this is going to be very crucial given the fact that Yatra is going to take place after a gap of 3 years. In 2019, the Yatra had to be curtailed because it had threat from terrorists when the Indian Army recovered landmines, they recovered US-made snipers that were intended to be used by the terrorists to target the Amarnath pilgrims. After that 2 years, there was pandemic in 2020, 2021. Yatra could not happen. And this year, there is an estimate that around 8 lakh pilgrims from various parts of the country would come and pay their obeisance at the holy cave shrine of Baba Amarnath in South Kashmir. Terrorists have been continuously, from the day when the Yatra was announced, they have been issuing threat warning. The TRF, the People Anti-Fascist Front and other terror outfits based in Kashmir, though they have their headquarters in Pakistan and they operate with different pseudo names like the TRF. TRF is nothing but a frontal of Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Toiba terror outfit. They have been issuing threats on social media to the pilgrims not to undertake the Yatra. So this Yatra is going to be crucial, and attempts would be made to disrupt the Yatra. Yes, Runjan.
Tejinder Singh and Mufti Islam, many thanks for getting us all those details. Moving on now,